What is up, everybody? Supreme Kyle here. Today I'm bringing you guys a PSA return submission video. We have the small box back from PSA here. I sent in a total of 8 cards, 7 of which were older Pokemon cards, as well as 1 modern football card here. So obviously I've already removed the top shipping label, but this is basically the little box they kind of give you with fragile written on the outside here. So I'm going to figure out how to open this, and then I'll be back here in a minute. Alright guys, so we're back here with the box opened on top. And when you do open your little box, you'll basically get the return form back from PSA with your different cards and the different costs, service level, that sort of thing. As well as you'll kind of just see, I guess depending how many cards you submit, you'll probably get a different size box. But basically you'll see in here I have 7 graded cards. My 1 football card didn't meet the grading criteria in there, but they kind of packed these cards into this little box here. So I'm going to take these out, just kind of stack them so it'll be a little bit easier to bring them out. All right, guys, so we're back here with the stack of cards, and I'll kind of go into the football card first since it didn't meet my minimum grade. Have a Jalen Hurts patch signed card here. Didn't meet my minimum grade of an 8. I think because of kind of some of the whitening here, towards the bottom. So they basically just kind of give me this little cutout here, just saying what the card was and saying, hey, just didn't meet your minimum grade there. So all my other cards did get graded here. I didn't put any other minimum grades on them. I basically just kind of sent them in, just hoping for the best. Here, most of these I either bought off eBay or I packed them myself, and I'll kind of go over each card as we basically go. But the cards I have a Blastoise base set, Venusaur base set, Dark Vileplume Holo First Edition, Dark Blastoise Holo, a Charmander First Edition Team Rocket, Squirtle First Edition Team Rocket, and an Ancient Mew that was basically sealed. So those First Edition cards I had opened from a Team Rocket pack that I bought. The other cards I kind of just bought off of eBay here. So let's start with the first card. It's going to be the Blastoise base set here, guys. I'll try to just cover up the grades to add a little bit more suspense here for you guys. So let's see what it came back with here, and we'll take a look at this card as well. So a pretty clean base set Blastoise here, gotta say. Definitely looks pretty nice in this PSA case here. Not much whitening really at all. Centering's pretty good. I had basically just bought this card off eBay, and funny enough, I actually didn't see the back of the card. I only saw the front. But given that it was in good condition, I decided to end up buying it. I think it was around $80, give or take, on this. So I kind of just took a chance here. And it came back with a 8.5 back from PSA. I was definitely excited to hear that back from PSA. I mean, 8.5 is just amazing for a card, especially this old. And given that I didn't even look at the back when I had first purchased this card, I was definitely obviously taking a chance, but the condition just seemed so good. It seemed like it was worth kind of the risk there, and it certainly paid off. I kind of wish it was a 9. That would have bumped up the price a bit there. But given I bought this for $80, I did the regular service level. That was $50. I had a total of $130 invested, and right now an 8.5 goes for around about $350 to $450. So that's about a profit of $220 to about $320. So definitely a nice little flip here on this Blastoise. Definitely got lucky, given how the condition was here. But so to talk a little bit about my, I guess, like PSA order, I sent in a regular order, $50 per card here, guys. And I'd sent them in early February. I think they got there February 10th. Were entered about 2 weeks later on the 24th. And I got them shipped back to me on April 15th. So it took about 2 months, back in early, February to get my regular card order. Obviously now that service level is suspended, and I think it is $100 for a regular card once they do kind of pick that back up here. But first card, the Blastoise Holo base set, 8.5 here. And moving on to the next card here, it's going to be a Venusaur. Again, I'd purchased this from the same seller here, and I didn't see the back again. The front had looked pretty clean. The centering looked, pretty decent on this card here as well. There's certainly a little bit of whitening. It's a bit hard to kind of see there, but you see it on the bottom there as well as up top and some of the corners. So it's definitely, more played. But I got this from the same seller as the Blastoise. Ended up paying around $60 for this, and it came back from PSA a 4 here, which I was not expecting. I was hoping for, at least, probably like a 6, give or take. Obviously, the whitening didn't help, and I think probably there's some surface issues on this card as well to bring it back a 4. But given I only paid 60 bucks, it wasn't too bad for this. And obviously $50 to grade the card. Had about $110 invested in this card, and I think a 4. It's kind of hard to get pricing on it, but it goes for around $100 to $150. So I lose about $10 to make up to around $40, kind of on the higher end of the 150 there, depending what this card kind of sells for. So I kind of took an L on this card. Just didn't grade as well as I thought. But that's sometimes the risk of buying these cards without seeing really in-depth pictures, or even seeing the back, like in my case for this card, as well as the Blastoise there. So base set Venusaur, PSA 4. Again, this is probably worth about $100 to $150. Really nothing too crazy here. So moving on to the next card, it's a Dark Vileplume Holo First Edition Team Rocket here. And I actually bought this pack, and I packed this card in there. Obviously, you can see the nice swirl up there. Looks sick. But I paid around 440 bucks, I think, for the pack. And I ended up selling the other cards that didn't get graded for around $40. So total of about $400 for 3 different cards. I have this, Charmander, and the Squirtle, all the first edition cards here, packed fresh here. So I was really hoping to get some kind of 10s kind of in here, at least 1 or 2 to kind of make up for that. So I think I have about $130 between the 3 cards each invested, plus the $50 grading cost here. So this Dark Vileplume First Edition Holo came back a PSA 9 here. Again, I was obviously hoping for a 10, just given that it was packed fresh and it was in really good condition there. My guess would probably be some of the centering is a little bit off on this card. Everything else is pretty clean on this card. Again, you obviously see the swirl up top there. Just looks amazing there. But this probably goes for around $100 to $150. So again, I'm probably going to lose, $80 to $30 on this card. Again, since it wasn't a 10. I think a 10 probably is closer to $400 or $500 on this card. So our next card up here is a Dark Blastoise Holo Team Rocket here. And the backstory on this, as well as I won this off an auction, the guy was basically saying, all my cards should grade at least a PSA 7. So I was definitely hopeful for this card to probably try and at least get an 8. The condition did seem like it was, pretty good there. He had kept it, I think, in a sleeve and a binder for a long time. But you really never know with some of these cards with, people playing with them as kids, or, wherever they kind of stored them. I personally like to kind of just grade pack fresh cards because it just gives you the best chance to kind of get a high grade here. But I paid about $80 for this card. Again, another $50 to grade. So I have about $130 in this card. And it came back a PSA 9 there, guys. Very surprised about this card. I was pretty happy, with this grade. Given a 9 here on the Dark Blastoise Holo from the Team Rocket set. Very clean again. Probably just some, centering issues slightly off there to kind of knock it down from a 10 there. But I was definitely excited for that. This probably goes for about $300 to $400, give or take, putting me at a profit about $170 to $220. So probably my second best flip here so far, right behind just the regular base set Blastoise, just given how high of a grade this card got, and how cheap I got it for just off an eBay auction. And it's one thing to watch on the auctions. You can definitely snipe some cards and be able to send them. Obviously now with the service levels kind of being suspended and just being pretty high. I think the Express Expedited is like $300 a card, so you really can't send in a lot of these lower valued cards. It really has to be high-end cards to be able to send in, unless you kind of want to wait a few months for the service levels to kind of come back here. But Dark Blastoise Holo, PSA 9 there. So moving on to my next card, it will be the Charmander First Edition. Again, Team Rocket. I had packed this card, paid around $400 for the first edition pack, which I thought was pretty reasonable there. Was obviously hoping to get obviously the Charizard in there, which I didn't. I got the Vileplume, but still got the Charmander, Squirtle, and the Vileplume from that pack, so I was pretty happy. But again, about $130 for each of these cards, as well as the $50 cost to kind of send in there. So this came back a PSA 9 here, first edition Charmander. Again, I was really hoping to get some 10s here, just given that these cards were packed fresh. and in really good condition. But it came back a 9. Again, I think probably, you know, just slightly kind of off on the centering that pushed it to be a 9 instead of a 10 there. This card goes for around $100. So I probably end up losing about $80 on this card. Again, you know, I was hoping for the 10 that really pushes these cards up in value, but it just didn't, you know, get there. And our second to last card here, guys, another Team Rocket First Edition. We have a Squirtle here, another pack fresh card I got here. And this card, again, I was hoping for a 10. It's going to end up coming back a PSA 9 there. Again, a little bit disappointed there. Probably some, you know, slightly centering, but I thought these cards, you know, looked pretty clean and had some decent shots at, you know, getting a 10. Obviously, this was my first PSA submission here, guys, so I was a bit curious to kind of see what these cards would come back. You really never know, you know, what PSA is going to grade them, or if there's like a surface issue. I mean, they obviously look with microscopes and look at it very closely to inspect the card and make sure, you know, it basically is the grade, you know, they consider it to be there. But Squirtle, First Edition, Team Rocket here. This, again, is probably about $100 to $150, give or take. So I'm going to end up losing about $80 to $30 on this card as well. Definitely taking a hit on these last two cards. So my very last card here, guys, is going to be an Ancient Mew. And I had, again, bought this card off of eBay. Thought it looked very clean. I actually bought it, you know, still in its seal. So I definitely thought it had a decent chance here to grade pretty high. Hoping for at least an 8 or a 9 on this Ancient Mew. I paid $35 for it total. Again, $50 to grade, so about $85 in this card. And it came back a PSA 6 there, guys. Very disappointed. Usually when it goes, you know, right to a 6, there's, you know, either kind of a crease or a dent in this card. So I'll probably have to look at it a bit, you know, closer there. But very disappointed given this card was sealed and it looked like it was in pretty good condition. But, you know, my guess, again, probably some surface, you know, issues or some damage, you know, somewhere that kind of bumped this card down to a 6. This card probably is about $60 to $80, so I'm going to end up losing, you know, $25 to, you know, $5 on this card. You know, very disappointed there with the 6, but again, sometimes it is what it is with, you know, sending your cards in, especially when you're newer and you don't really know too much kind of about the process or about really, you know, kind of looking at your cards there, guys. But yeah, so I think total here, in terms of profit, I'll be at around, on kind of the low end, $100, and on the high end, about $470. So I think I'll probably end up making around $250, you know, give or take on, you know, these cards. I think most of these I probably won't end up selling, like this Blastoise as well as the Dark Blastoise. I'll probably, you know, just kind of hang on and put into my personal collection. Some of these other cards I definitely do kind of just plan on, you know, selling. So I will list my eBay below for anyone that's interested in any of these cards. But I thought it definitely was, you know, pretty exciting to kind of send them into PSA, get them back, and kind of go through the whole process. I think it definitely is going to help me kind of in the future here when I send some more cards kind of into them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this return from PSA. If you want to see more videos, again, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, do all that, comment, follow me on social media. And until next time, guys, peace.